Hi, Chef Luke from the Edgewood Road Hy-Vee, and today I'll be making a recipe that was selected to be one of the finalists for the Food Marketing Institute's Supermarket Chef Showdown in Chicago this year at their Connect kind of big food show. So myself and Chef Jen from Marion were both selected to go down there and compete this year. So that'll be on June 11th that we'll be down there competing. So we were one of 25 finalists that were selected. 9 of them are Hy-Vee chefs. So we got quite a good selection for the competition this year. So the recipe that I'll be baking is a dessert recipe, and it's my Oreo Chia pudding that I've kind of made into like a martini. It kind of looks really nice and fancy, but it's also really good too. So I'll kind of show you how I make it today. Looks fancy, but it's really easy to make. You can make it right in your own home. Alright, so first we'll start off with our Hansen's Farm Fresh heavy cream. That's what kind of makes this dish fun. It was initially when chia seeds came out. It's this big healthy item, and you know, the dietitians here at the store kind of like to think that I only cook with heavy cream, so I thought I'd show them that I can take one of their really healthy items and well, make it delicious. Not that the healthy items aren't delicious, but this just makes it fun for me and kind of a little joke between me and the dietitians. So we'll start off with 2 cups of the Hansen's heavy cream. So you want to just kind of get that on a medium heat. You don't want to bring cream up too fast and let it boil. It'll kind of scald and give you kind of an off flavor. So we'll let that kind of slowly heat up. As soon as it starts to have a little bit of movement in there, then we'll throw in our Hershey's chocolate syrup. So the Food Marketing Institute, they have sponsors that they kind of want us to work with some of their ingredients. So it kind of worked out that this is a fairly simple recipe, but I got to use my favorite cookie Oreos, and well, I love Hershey's chocolate syrup. So it kind of worked out. There's not too many ingredients for you to work with. So as we let that kind of steep a little bit, then we'll move on to showing you how we're going to kind of decorate our glass. Okay, so now how we'll finish presenting this is in a nice martini glass. I'm sure some of you have some that, you know, are the big martini glasses because, well, that's an appropriate size for a martini if it's been a long day. But for something like this, you don't need too much in there, so we just use a 9-ounce martini glass. Now, what we'll do is just get your normal food processor. You can even do it in your blender, but you got to be a little bit more careful with it. But we'll take just Oreo cookies. And take some of these and you'll just toss them right into your food processor. You don't need a whole bunch of them, but imagine that you just need enough to get like a coating on there because you'll put it right on the rim of your glass. We're kind of making it look like how you make a margarita, but we're going to use, instead of just lime juice and then salt, we'll use Hershey's syrup and then crushed Oreo cookies. So take it in our food processor, just pulse it a few times, just enough so that you can get some of the crumblies. So you don't want to let it just go, because then you'll get some of that cream frosting that'll just make it smush them on the inside. It's kind of the same way with chopping up nuts in a food processor. So you're going to have some big chunks of the cookies in here, and well, if you like Oreos, you can just figure out where those should go. So we'll just take it, and I've already chopped up some, so we'll kind of put it down there onto our plate. Now you just kind of want to, I mean, this is a lot here, so if you were planning on making more for multiple guests, then you have a bunch of the chopped up Oreos there. And by all means, you can make some dirt dessert or something if you got some left over. Make sure and use it. Oreos should never go to waste. So we'll have the plate here, and then just like the old can of Hershey's chocolate syrup. So we'll just take that and kind of just pour it into a rough circle. Doesn't need to be anything really exact. Okay, so what we'll do now, we'll take our martini glass, just hold it by the stem, and just kind of come down, and just make sure it gets good and coated. You can just let it sit there for a second, it'll get nice and stuck to it. And then just kind of go around, make sure you get a good amount of coverage. You've got Oreos right around the rim. Now, you can set that there like this, then move these out. So now we'll kind of take a look and see how our cream's doing, and you can start to see that we're getting a little bit of skin on top of there. I mean, just enough that you can tell that there's a little bit that's heating up. So we'll kind of give it a stir, and we'll add our Hershey's chocolate syrup. Now the intention for this is to make it really chocolatey, which is always a good thing. So at this point it's almost smelling like a nice mild hot cocoa. So once we get that good and spread around into here, I mean, you can kind of feel the heat coming up off the cream, so it's not going to take a whole tremendous amount of time. But now what we want to do is take our 1 cup of chia seeds and we'll pour that right into the mix. Just kind of spread it around here and get that just steeping for just a little while. Okay, so as you kind of see, this is kind of thickening up a little bit. You want to see some of the bubbles, but adjust your heat so that you don't see too many. So we'll just make sure that there's just a real low heat at this point. Now this is just at this point, I mean, it's just going to thicken up really, really quickly. So we'll want to get ready to put it right into our glass, but we'll need some little bit of garnish that goes in here. So it's good that we've reserved some of these. You want some of the crushed Oreos. We'll put some of that right in the bottom. So it's got a nice little base to work with there. Now, take a little bit of our pudding and set it right into here. Don't need a ton, but what we do need is just a little bit of Hershey's syrup. We'll just kind of let that drizzle around the outsides of it. Makes it look pretty. Get a little bit onto your glass. Now, for the garnish, what I try to do, this one kind of makes it look a little bit cool. So we'll take a couple Oreos, grab kind of a sharp knife with a nice tip onto it. You got to be real careful and gentle, but what you're going to do is take the knife, put it right between the R and the E, right in the center. Kind of twirl it just a little bit, then start to twirl your cookie just a little bit. You're just trying to break through the cookie, but you don't want to crack the cookie. So, cut down into the frosting, and then do the same thing on the other side. I use these little bamboo skewers that are kind of cool. And slide it right through there. So that way, set it right down in. So we've got kind of an Oreo cookie there, kind of off at an angle. Then, little bit of Ready Whip. Gotta have a little bit of whipped cream onto it. A little bit of that. Put some more crumbles right onto it. Maybe even a piece of Oreo off the other side. Nice chunk. A little bit more syrup. And a warm Oreo Chia pudding martini. Bon appetit.